The raging COVID-19 pandemic has been stoking a fresh debate about Goans versus Pile, the derisive Konkani word for outsiders. Goa has been in the throes of an unprecedented COVID-19 pandemic, the second and the more lethal wave of the contagion that started around Easter in early April. And on May 1, India's smallest state with a population of around 2 million notched an unflattering milestone, a record 54 deaths due to COVID-19. Why has COVID-19 struck Goa with such vengeance in its second and deadlier wave?
No doubt it's denial that's hurting Goa. You have two kinds of denial. One is by people from outside the state largely who want to deny that they have to behave in the same way that they would somewhere else in order to keep everyone safe. And secondly, perhaps even more deadly, is a denial by the government of the scale and of the problem and the obvious ways that they need to fix it. These two are working in tandem, and until both of them are solved, I don't think that we are going to be in a much better condition for some time to come.
Goa has overtaken China, the world's most populous nation, and the initial epicenter of the contagion in the total number of COVID-19 infections. Goa's viral outbreak-related fatalities are higher than Tanzania, Vietnam, and Taiwan. The extent of the casualties is staggering amid infrastructure woes and blame game in the tiny state's administration.
Goa has been very helpful. It has done some wonderful organization of the injections, and both of us, my wife and I, senior citizens, have already taken 2 shots, and the primary health centers here are doing a great job. But there are many outsiders here who disrespect the protocol.
There may be a raging debate between locals versus outsiders, but several non-Goans are at peace with the state of affairs amid the all-round panic over the contagion that is striking with impunity.
The state of Goa has only one tertiary healthcare facility, that is Goa Medical College and Hospital, which is completely overwhelmed under these circumstances because the state has never experienced the healthcare emergency of these epic proportions. Our frontline workers battling this pandemic are completely overworked and are suffering from contagion fatigue.
Goa is a picture postcard state and a second home to many creative and well-heeled people. Its pristine beaches, undulating meadows, gushing rivulets, lush, verdant landscape, breathtaking hillocks, and lack of urban-rural divide is an unmissable attraction for several city slickers and superannuated folks with a love for the good life and comfort that money can buy.
This is the current scenario where the locals literally feel Goa should be for Goans. And quite frankly, I endorse that view. It is very political in nature. It's been brewing since the past 15-20 years, if I remember right.
Goa is caught between two contrasting universes, whose twain will never meet, and is causing the ongoing healthcare crisis of epic proportions. Grief-stricken Goans have to contend with the escapist people of all hues who continue to party like pre-pandemic times to disastrous consequences.
Goa finds itself in a crisis because of 3 separate factors, I would say. 2 of them are in common with the rest of the country. But the third one is quite specific to Goa, and that is a kind of a parallel universe that exists between people who have come to Goa, particularly in the course of the pandemic, in order to wait out the crisis that's taking place in other parts of the country. And so you have basically 2 separate societies. One group of people, mainly the locals, who are following standard operating procedures in order to keep people safe. And then you have another group who are defiantly not doing that.
But business, pleasure, and social restrictions can all go hand in hand. Can Goa win over the COVID-19 challenge soon? Can Goa retain its cultural identity? Socially mobile Indians want to get a slice of Goa at all cost, as nativism falls by the wayside. Goans versus non-Goans is the larger debate that needs to be discussed threadbare after the contagion crisis blows over. It's an existential conundrum that has a universal feel to it. But for now, it's all about making sure Goa lives up to its image built over the decades as the king of good times.
you.